What were your opening observations? They won 1-0, so winning's a habit. Nice to get a win under the belt. What did you make of it?
Very encouraged, I have to say. We talked sort of in previous podcasts about in days gone by, years gone by, the first few games of pre-season are very much about kind of getting yourself fit, getting rid of some of the summer excess, and just a bit of a run out. Those days are long gone. These players have come back in really good nick. But even so, I thought this was going to be a difficult game for the reasons that Kieran McKenna outlined beforehand. Ipswich have just had a really intense week-long training camp in the Austrian sun. Yes, it hammered down on the day of the game, but I think it's been a really difficult. They've been put through their paces, double sessions, all of that last week. So not how you would normally prepare for a game of football. Shakhtar, as you've mentioned, are a Champions League side. They just won the domestic double in Ukraine. Barely lost a game along the way. Had that win against Barcelona that you mentioned in the Champions League. But more importantly, they are much further into their pre-season. They played 5 games already prior to going into this one, and against some decent opposition as well. So there was a lot of talk from Kieran McKenna about we don't have massive expectations going into this. It's just minutes in the leg. So for Ipswich to be highly competitive in this game and also get the win was really good. The tempo, the energy, the patterns of play. There was a lot of really good stuff there to take away from what was the kind of first official pre-season game in the summer for Ipswich Town.
Right. So the two things of main interest going into this game for me. Number one, new signings. Obviously, we'll talk about them in a minute, seeing how they look, and the kit. So we didn't actually see it in person, and the kit got absolutely shat on in terms of rain, didn't it? So it stood up to its first test. But the new signings, Stu, should we talk about them? Because essentially the starting 11 had a feel of kind of what we come to expect from a starting 11, doesn't it? With a few obvious exceptions. Vaz, for example, clearly no longer with us. But Ben Johnson started, and then we saw Greaves and Delap in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk us through your observations on those three?
Yeah, of the new 5, if we're including Amari Hutchinson in the 5 new boys, only 3 featured and only 1 started the game, and that was Ben Johnson at right back, alongside the sort of familiar centre-half pairing of Wolfenden and Burgess, and Davis at left back. So we got the longest look at him. I think he played an hour before he came off, and really like the look of him. Athletic is the first kind of observation of him. He's tall, wiry, aggressive in the way sort of he would put pressure on the ball if there was a loose touch. Midway into the Ipswich half, he was on it in a flash. He was prepared to go and attack the ball and then trust his pace. Obviously the plan is to win the ball, but if he doesn't, he'd trust himself to then recover and get himself back. Few nice little turns of pace to tidy up with wingers getting into corners. Really big leap on him as well. I noticed at one point, dangerous ball to the back post, big spring to get enough of a head on the ball, and Ipswich defended a set piece. So for a first outing, encouraging. Showed a lot of the things that we've kind of heard about him and the reasons why Ipswich have added him to the squad.
Excellent. And also we saw Greaves and Delap in the second half. Delap came close, didn't he, second half? A little pullback from Elkin Baggett I want to talk about as well at some point. But what did you make of those two in the second half?
Not loads to say about Greaves, because I think come the second half, Shakhtar changed 10 players at half time. Ipswich changed I think 4 at half time, another 5 on the hour, and then that always makes for a bit more of a disjointed second half. I think virtually his first touch, Greaves gave the ball away, but after that settled quite nicely. Again, there was a nice little moment from him where Shakhtar forward looked like he was going to get sort of nip the ball away from I think Slicker was in goal by that point and looked like he might go round the goalkeeper, and Greaves could have dived in but stayed on his feet, just shepherded him down the left side of the box, allowed the goalkeeper to get himself back in his goal, and danger was snuffed out. So a couple of little nice moments like that from Greaves. pretty solid. Not loads to say about his performance, I would say. Delap I really liked. Delap came on for the last half hour or so. I think erroneously he was shown as coming on at half time when the graphics went out, but I think it was an hour when he came on. Interestingly, he was the one. Him and Ladapo came on at the same time, and you assumed that Freddie would be the one who played up front, and Delap might be someone who played wide or deeper, given his sort of versatile qualities. But no, it was Delap who played as the number 9. Ladapo played that sort of inside left role, actually. And immediately Liam Delap put himself about. I mean, one of his first actions was to absolutely clatter a defender with sort of a bit of a raised boot, and he got booked for that. So it was someone who was obviously raring to make his mark. And just continued to put himself about the pitch. He dropped into pockets of space, some nice little neat touches, backed into centre halves, won fouls, nice turn of pace to run in behind at times. Had a couple of efforts at goals, so a lively first outing for Liam Delap, I would say.